The Great Pyramid holds more secrets than any guidebook will ever tell you. We are about to uncover 20 hidden mechanisms that powered the wonders of the ancient world, revealing a level of sophistication that will genuinely surprise you. By the end of this journey, you will see history not as a collection of dusty artifacts, but as a testament to brilliant engineering minds. How did a 2,000-year-old shipwreck yield a device considered the world's first computer? What unseen force allowed a single voice to reach thousands in an open-air theater? We will decode the silent language of these monumental achievements, exploring everything from celestial calculators to automated temple doors. What does our modern world overlook about the true genius of the past? That lump of corroded bronze pulled from the seafloor held a secret far greater than its discoverers could have guessed. For decades, the Antikythera Mechanism was a baffling mystery, a complex lump of gears and inscriptions that defied simple explanation. But modern technology has peeled back the layers of time, revealing this to be an ancient Greek masterpiece of engineering, a device that could predict the cosmos. Inside its wooden case, a precise clockwork of at least 30 interlocking bronze gears moved together. This was not a simple calendar. It was a mechanical representation of the heavens, capable of forecasting the positions of the sun, the moon, and the 5 known planets. It could even predict eclipses and track the timing of ancient athletic games like the Olympics. The most stunning revelation came from advanced scanning techniques. Researchers like Dr. Tony Freeth and his team discovered the mechanism used a sophisticated concept called a differential gear. This ingenious arrangement of gears accounted for the moon's subtle wobble, its irregular orbit, a calculation of remarkable complexity. Think of that. A technology we associate with the modern automobile was operating in a handheld device over 2,000 years ago. This object was a portable cosmos, a testament to a level of scientific understanding that simply vanishes from the historical record for more than a millennium. Its very existence forces a profound question. If this one device survived by pure chance, what other intellectual treasures were lost to the depths of the sea, leaving our view of the ancient world permanently incomplete? While the Antikythera Mechanism calculated the cosmos, another ancient innovation focused its power on the smallest of details. In the royal palaces of the Assyrian Empire, a piece of perfectly ground rock crystal offers a different kind of revelation. Known today as the Nimrud Lens, this 3,000-year-old oval of crystal was discovered in what is now Iraq. At first glance, it appears to be a simple decorative object. But its true purpose is written in its precise, elliptical shape, a form that can focus sunlight into a burning point or magnify small objects with startling clarity. Imagine an Assyrian scholar or royal craftsman using this device to examine fine cuneiform script on a clay tablet, or to inspect the intricate details of a jewelry inlay. The lens could concentrate the sun's rays to light a fire, a form of hydraulic power harnessed from pure light. The craftsmanship is undeniable. Analysis shows its surfaces were deliberately ground and polished to create optical properties, making it the oldest known lens in the world. Its existence challenges our assumptions completely. We tend to think of optics as a much later science, yet here is clear evidence of advanced understanding. This was not a happy accident of nature. The lens was intentionally shaped, a tool that gave its user a new kind of control over the visual world. It hints at a hidden tradition of optical science, one that may have been crucial for the precise astronomical observations that informed devices like the Antikythera Mechanism. This small crystal fragment connects the vastness of the stars to the minute details of human craft, proving that the ancient world's genius was not just in grand structures, but in the focused power of a single, brilliant idea. Moving from the precision of a handheld lens to the scale of a mountain of stone, the Great Pyramid presents the ultimate ancient engineering puzzle. How did a society without pulleys or iron tools lift 2 million stone blocks, each weighing several tons, to a height rivaling a 40-story building? The answer may be locked within the pyramid's own massive core. Far from a simple heap of rock, the Great Pyramid likely concealed its own construction machinery. One compelling theory suggests the builders used an internal ramp, a spiraling corridor that coiled its way up inside the growing structure. Imagine teams of workers not dragging blocks up a massive external slope, but walking them along a gradually ascending tunnel built right into the pyramid's heart. This hidden logistical network would have shielded the work from the desert winds and provided a consistent, manageable incline. Evidence for this comes from modern technology. Microgravimetric surveys, which measure tiny changes in gravity to detect voids, have hinted at a spiraling density anomaly within the pyramid, a ghostly imprint of that ancient ramp. But the true masterpiece of hidden mechanics might lie in the pyramid's most famous interior space, the Grand Gallery. This vast, soaring corridor is not just a passageway. Its steeply sloping floor and peculiar groove system suggest it was the central shaft of a massive counterweight lift. Envision a heavy sled loaded with a granite beam for the king's chamber. As this sled was pulled up the gallery, a separate team would have been lowering an equally heavy counterweight down a parallel shaft. The weight going down would do the hard work of lifting the weight going up, a brilliant application of basic physics that turned back-breaking labor into a balanced, controlled operation. These were not just construction techniques, they were the hidden mechanisms of a project management genius, transforming an impossible dream into a calculated, step-by-step reality. This same ingenuity in harnessing natural forces would soon be directed toward another vital resource, leading to wonders that mastered the flow of water itself. Beneath the iconic arches of Roman aqueducts ran a hidden network of engineering genius, one that mastered water not just by guiding it, but by forcing it to climb. While the stone channels are famous, the true mechanical marvels were often buried in the earth. To cross deep valleys, Roman engineers abandoned the gentle slope of an elevated arcade. Instead, they constructed massive inverted siphons. Imagine a giant, continuous pipe made of solid lead, plunging down one side of a valley and rising up the other. Water would flow into the pipe at a high point, and as it rushed down, it built up immense pressure, enough to push it back up the far side, often to a height nearly equal to its starting point. This was pressurized hydraulics on a grand scale, a system that could conquer topography itself, but the water arriving in the city was not yet ready to drink. Before it entered the public fountains and baths, it went through a silent, hidden cleansing process. A series of tanks known as piscinae limeriae acted as the empire's purification plants. As water slowed in these vast, quiet basins, sand, silt, and other heavy impurities would gently settle to the bottom. Workers could then periodically enter through access shafts to remove the accumulated sediment, ensuring a cleaner flow continued onward. This combination of the violent force of a pressurized siphon and the gentle patience of a settling tank represents a holistic understanding of water management. It was a hidden public health infrastructure that sustained millions, a practical application of fluid dynamics that would not be rivaled for over 1,000 years. This mastery over natural flow, however, would soon be tested by a far more chaotic force, the relentless pressure of a siege, requiring a new kind of hidden mechanism built for survival. The silent power of water gave way to the thunderous demands of defense, where a castle's first line of protection was a feat of hidden physics. A visitor approaching the gatehouse saw only a formidable wooden bridge spanning a deep trench. Yet in a heartbeat, that solid path could disappear, retracting into the stone facade to leave a yawning gap. The secret was not magic, but a carefully balanced system of levers and weights concealed within the gatehouse walls. The entire bridge was mounted on a massive pivot like a giant seesaw. Chains or ropes ran from the outer end of the bridge up and over this axle, connecting to an enormous counterweight suspended in a narrow shaft inside the fortress. In its resting position, the weight hung high, holding the bridge level and open. But when a single guard released a locking mechanism, gravity took over. The massive counterweight dropped, its tremendous force pulling the chains and hauling the bridge upward in a swift, smooth arc. This transformed a passive structure into an active weapon, capable of isolating the fortress in seconds. The efficiency was breathtaking. One person could control a barrier weighing thousands of pounds, a perfect application of mechanical advantage for survival. This constant innovation in siege technology, this need to conceal power until the very last moment, reflects a world where security depended on such hidden mechanisms. And just as a castle gate could vanish, another ancient wonder could make a single voice appear to be everywhere at once, mastering a different kind of force entirely. The silent efficiency of a castle's drawbridge relied on hidden physics, but the ancient Greeks concealed a different kind of power entirely, one designed not for defense but for perfect clarity. An actor standing on the stage of the Epidaurus Theatre could speak in a conversational tone, and his words would be heard with stunning crispness by every one of the 14,000 people seated around him. This was no accident of construction. It was the result of deliberate, hidden acoustic engineering embedded in the very stone. The key lies in the remarkable precision of the limestone seats. Each tier was carved and spaced to act as a natural acoustic filter. The rough texture and specific frequency of the stone effectively absorbed the low-frequency rumble of the moving crowd, the shuffling feet and distant murmurs that would otherwise muddy the sound. Meanwhile, the higher frequencies of the human voice, the consonants and harmonics that carry meaning, were reflected cleanly back up toward the audience. But the architects may have gone even further. Historians and archaeologists have long debated the possibility of resonant chambers hidden beneath the seating. Imagine a series of precisely sized bronze vessels or carved cavities placed at strategic points. These would function as Helmholtz resonators, a concept we still use in modern sound engineering. When a specific vocal pitch, a certain note from a chorus or a key frequency from an actor's speech hit these cavities, they would begin to vibrate in sympathy. This sympathetic vibration would amplify that particular sound, enriching the voice and giving it a presence that seemed to come from the very air around the listeners. This created an immersive auditory experience that modern amplifiers struggle to replicate. The entire theater became a living instrument, perfectly tuned to the human voice. It was baked in audio engineering, a hidden mechanism that ensured stories of gods and heroes were not just seen, but truly heard, connecting a massive community through the pristine power of sound. This mastery over an invisible force demonstrates a sophistication that moves beyond mere construction into the realm of sensory manipulation, a theme that would find its ultimate expression in the automated wonders of a temple that seemed to breathe with a life of its own. The same mastery of sound that filled the open-air theater was harnessed to create an experience of pure awe within the sacred walls of the Hagia Sophia. Here, worshippers did not just hear a human voice, but a sound that seemed to descend directly from the heavens. Historical records speak of a colossal wind-powered organ, a hidden mechanical marvel that filled the vast cathedral with its voice. This was no simple instrument. It required a dedicated team of attendants operating massive bellows, likely driven by water power or the force of the wind itself, to feed a great air reservoir concealed within the structure. A complex system of valves and levers would then release this stored air into ranked sets of bronze pipes, each tuned to produce a different, powerful note. The resulting music was not merely loud, it was overwhelming, a resonant vibration that physically washed over the congregation. This fusion of musical art and precise pneumatic engineering was a deliberate technological strategy. The architects of the experience understood that sound could shape emotion and deepen spiritual reverence. The unseen source of the music, its origin hidden within the building's fabric, made the divine presence feel imminent and real. This was technology in service of the sublime, a hidden mechanism designed not for practical necessity, but to command the human spirit. That very same drive to create wonder through concealed mechanics would soon find its most playful and astonishing expression, as the same principles of air and water pressure gave life to stories of singing statues and self-pouring wine. The ethereal music of the Hagia Sophia demonstrated how hidden mechanics could evoke the divine, but in the city of Alexandria, a master engineer orchestrated a different kind of miracle. Heron of Alexandria designed a system where a priest could light a simple altar fire, and moments later witness the grand temple doors swing open as if moved by an unseen hand. This was not magic, but a brilliant piece of pneumatic theater. The secret mechanism was hidden beneath the altar itself. A fire was lit upon a hollow platform, heating the air trapped inside a sealed brass vessel below. As the air grew hot, it expanded with nowhere to go, creating immense pressure. This pressurized air was then forced down through a pipe and into a large container of water, acting like a giant breath pushing through a straw. The air pressure drove the water up and out through a siphon, channeling it into a large bucket that was suspended from a rope and pulley system. This was the system's ingenious heart. The empty bucket was part of a counterweight that held the temple doors securely closed. As the bucket steadily filled with the displaced water, it grew heavier and began to descend. Its slow, deliberate fall pulled on the ropes wound around axles connected to the doors. The counterweight rose, the axles turned, and the massive doors pivoted open in a dramatic, unhurried reveal. The entire process was a chain reaction of simple physical principles, thermal expansion and pneumatic pressure, harnessed to create a moment of pure wonder. This automated spectacle was designed to inspire faith and awe, a tangible sign of the gods' favor. It reveals a world where engineering was not just for practical utility, but for profound psychological impact. Heron's doors stand as a stunning example of ancient automation, a hidden mechanism that blurred the line between the ritual and the mechanical, setting a conceptual stage for a device that would attempt to master something even more elusive, the constant, silent flow of time itself. Heron's automated temple doors were a marvel of illusion, but a different kind of precision was emerging on the other side of the world. In 11th century China, an official named Su Song oversaw the creation of a timekeeping wonder that redefined mechanical genius. His clock tower soared nearly 40 feet into the air, a complex symphony of gears and water power crowned by an armillary sphere for mapping the heavens. The true breakthrough, however, was hidden deep within its wooden frame, a component known as the celestial balance. This was the heart of the entire machine, a water-driven escapement that solved a problem which had plagued timekeepers for centuries. How do you transform the steady, continuous flow of water into the precise, tick-tock steps needed to drive a clock? Earlier water clocks simply measured the drip of water from one vessel to another, a method that was inherently slow and prone to error. Su Song's mechanism was radically different. It used a complex wheel with scoops around its edge. Water from a constant level tank would pour into these scoops one by one. The system was perfectly balanced. When the weight of the water in a scoop reached a critical point, it tripped a clever lever and latch system. This release allowed the main wheel to rotate just one notch, while the lever simultaneously raised a counterweight that emptied the full scoop. The wheel then locked firmly back into place, awaiting the next scoop to fill. This cycle of fill, trip, release, and lock created a perfectly regulated, intermittent motion. It was the world's first liquid-controlled escapement, a device that chopped the endless stream of time into measurable, reliable units. This hidden mechanism did more than tell the hour. Its regulated power drove the clock's astronomical displays, rotating a celestial globe and moving the armillary sphere to mirror the actual motions of the stars and planets with astonishing accuracy. For its time, it was a pinnacle of engineering, a leap in horology that would not be independently developed in Europe for another 200 years. Yet this magnificent tower and the knowledge it contained would eventually be lost to conflict and the passage of time. The same relentless search for precision that guided Su Song's clock would soon be directed toward a much more unstable environment, the open sea, where a new set of hidden mechanisms would be required to guide explorers through trackless waters. A Viking navigator on the open sea faced a disorienting void when the fog rolled in, with no visible sun or stars to guide his ship. His secret weapon was not a complex machine, but a seemingly ordinary crystal. Known today as a sunstone, this was a piece of transparent calcite, a mineral with a remarkable hidden property. It could decode the very nature of sunlight itself. The principle at work is light polarization. Even on an overcast day, sunlight scattering through the atmosphere creates a distinct, invisible pattern across the sky, a band of polarized light that forms a ring around the sun's hidden position. The sunstone acted as a filter. A navigator would hold the crystal up to the sky and slowly rotate it. Looking through the calcite, he would see two distinct beams of light. By turning the stone until both beams appeared equally bright, he could line up with the polarization pattern and literally see the direction of the sun, pinpointing its location with astonishing accuracy, even when it was physically below the horizon. This was a natural global positioning system powered by pure physics. It transformed an empty, gray sky into a precise navigational chart, enabling those daring voyages across the North Atlantic to places like Iceland and Greenland. This profound, hidden understanding of light's behavior, harnessed in a simple stone, demonstrates a form of technological intuition that feels almost magical. Yet this same drive to manipulate perception through unseen forces was also being applied on a monumental scale, where architects designed entire buildings to counteract the very laws of nature. High above the Syrian plains, the Krak des Chevaliers seemed an impenetrable fortress of stone. Yet its most vital defenses were not the towering walls that met the eye, but a hidden, silent world dug deep beneath the earth. When besieging armies arrived, a second, more secretive war began underground. The primary threat was the sapper, a specialist soldier whose mission was to tunnel beneath the foundations and collapse a critical section of the wall. The defenders of Krak did not wait passively for this to happen. They proactively dug their own labyrinth, a network of narrow, pitch-black countermine tunnels that extended outward from the castle's base like the roots of a great tree. This was a subterranean early warning system. In specially designed chambers known as listening galleries, soldiers would sit in absolute darkness and silence, their ears pressed against the earth or against a drum skin stretched taut over a hole in the ground. Through these methods, they could detect the faintest vibrations and the muffled, metallic chink of enemy pickaxes from a startling distance away. This hidden auditory intelligence gave the defenders a crucial advantage. They could pinpoint the exact direction and depth of the enemy tunnel. Sometimes they would dig a countermine directly toward the sound, aiming to break through into the enemy sapping tunnel itself. When the two tunnels connected, the wide-open combat of the battlefield was replaced by a desperate, claustrophobic struggle in the dark, a brutal close-quarters fight in a space barely wide enough for two men to pass. Other times, the defenders employed a more devastating tactic. They would deliberately undermine an area above an approaching enemy tunnel, creating a camouflage, a chamber designed to be collapsed. By setting a fire to burn away the wooden supports or through a carefully timed explosion, they could bring the earth down, crushing the sappers and burying their work forever. This underground chess game, played out in total darkness, was a critical and highly sophisticated dimension of medieval warfare. It reveals a mindset that thought in 3 dimensions, where victory depended not only on strength above ground, but on an intimate, almost instinctual understanding of the earth below. This relentless focus on strategic concealment would soon find a far more peaceful, yet equally ingenious, expression in the secret compartments of sacred art. The same instinct that carved listening tunnels beneath a fortress also raised stone heavens toward the sky. Gothic cathedrals are far more than monuments of faith. They are hidden mechanisms of celestial alignment, their very stones programmed with sacred geometry. Look up at the soaring vaults of Chartres Cathedral, and you are not merely seeing an architectural marvel, you are reading a star chart carved in limestone. The entire structure functions as a massive, static astronomical instrument. Its main axis is precisely oriented so that on the summer solstice, the rising sun sends a beam of light through a specific stained glass window, illuminating a particular point on the floor in a burst of symbolic fire. This is not a coincidence. Many windows are designed so that the sun illuminates them with special intensity only on the feast day of the saint they depict, turning the annual calendar into a play of light and shadow. Even the labyrinth inlaid in the nave floor is a hidden mechanism for a different kind of journey. This intricate, winding path was not meant to be viewed from above, but to be walked. Each deliberate step along its circuitous route was a form of spiritual pilgrimage, a meditative practice built into the very foundation of the building. The cathedral itself becomes a guide, its hidden alignments and symbolic pathways offering a structured route to contemplation. This was architecture conceived as a bridge between the earthly and the divine, a stone computer where every pillar, every window, and every angle held a coded meaning. It represents a world where science and spirit were not separate, but intertwined through the silent, constant mechanics of the cosmos. This profound integration of cosmic order into daily life reflects a mindset that also valued personal order, leading to the creation of objects designed to protect one's most private world from prying eyes. The same ingenuity that aimed for the heavens in Gothic cathedrals was directed toward the depths of the earth, where ancient Egyptian architects designed their greatest works not to be seen, but to remain forever sealed. Their challenge was to protect a royal tomb from the moment the final ceremony concluded, creating a security system that had to function without its creators. The solution lay in immense, hidden locking mechanisms. Deep within a pyramid's passageways, builders prepared slots in the walls, ceilings, and floors, channels designed to guide massive granite slabs. These were the portcullises, some weighing many tons, that would become the tomb's ultimate barrier. After the pharaoh's final procession moved through the corridors and the inner chamber was sealed, workers in hidden chambers above would release the ropes holding these monstrous blocks. The granite slabs would slide down their polished channels, crashing into place with finality, physically barring the path back to the burial chamber. This was a security system activated from the inside, a one-way seal that used the tomb's own immense weight against any intruder. While popular tales of intricate booby traps are more legend than fact, these physical locks were a brilliant and very real application of mechanical engineering. They transformed static architecture into an active defense, a permanent guardian. This profound desire to protect a sacred space for eternity reflects a mindset that saw engineering as a promise, a way to defy time itself through sheer, calculated force. And just as these massive stones were set to guard priceless treasures below, another ancient civilization was perfecting a system of hidden valves and chambers to protect something even more vital for the living, the public water supply high above in the mountains. Deep beneath the sun-scorched plains of ancient Persia, a hidden river flowed in total darkness. This was the genius of the Qanat, a subterranean aqueduct system that turned barren land into life-giving oases. The entire process began with a single, crucial vertical shaft known as the mother well. Engineers first located a life-giving water table, often at the foot of a mountain where rainwater and snowmelt seeped into the earth. They would dig straight down, sometimes over 100 feet, until they struck this precious underground reservoir. From the bottom of this mother well, the true work began. A gently sloping tunnel was meticulously carved, heading straight for the distant settlement or farmland that needed water. The slope was the system's hidden engine. A drop of just 1 foot for every 1,000 feet of length was enough for gravity to pull the water along its entire journey, a perfectly calculated gradient that required astonishing surveying skill over many miles. But how did they build and maintain a tunnel that stretched for 50 miles or more? The answer lies in the distinctive lines of craters that still mark the landscape today. From the main tunnel's path straight up to the surface, workers dug a series of vertical access shafts at regular intervals. These shafts served as portals for pulling out excavated earth during construction and for centuries after as vital maintenance hatches. Workers could descend to clear blockages or repair tunnel walls, ensuring the lifeblood of the community never stopped flowing. This hidden design was a masterstroke of sustainability. By running the water deep underground, the Qanat system completely prevented the massive evaporation that would have claimed a surface canal in the desert heat. The cool, dark tunnel also protected the water from sandstorms and contamination, delivering a clean, reliable supply directly to the heart of the city. For over 2,000 years, these silent, gravity-fed rivers sustained empires, enabling agriculture and supporting large populations in some of the world's most arid regions. It stands as one of history's greatest feats of passive engineering, a hidden mechanism that worked in perfect harmony with the earth itself. This quiet, relentless flow of water from mountain to city created the stability and wealth that would soon be channeled into far more theatrical and public displays of engineering prowess. Heron's steam engine spun not as a tool for labor, but as a brilliant idea made tangible. Known as the Aeolipile, this device was a hollow bronze sphere, suspended between 2 pipes that fed into it from a boiling water kettle below. As the fire heated the water, steam rushed up through the pipes and into the sphere, eventually escaping at high speed from 2 opposing nozzles bent at angles. The reactive thrust from these jets of steam sent the sphere whirling rapidly on its axis, a mesmerizing dance of metal and vapor. Here was the fundamental principle of jet propulsion and steam power, demonstrated in a single, elegant mechanism over 1,500 years before the Industrial Age. It was a toy, a temple wonder, yet it held a universe of potential within its simple rotation. This was not a failure of application, but a revelation of conceptual genius. Heron understood the transformative power of steam, the energy locked within heated water, even if his society lacked the need or the materials to harness it for industry. The Aeolipile stands as a poignant what if in the history of technology, a hidden mechanism that proves the ancient world was intellectually ready for a mechanical revolution, even if the economic and social conditions were not yet aligned. This same understanding of elemental forces would soon be scaled up dramatically, applied not to a spinning sphere, but to the monumental task of lifting stone blocks that weighed more than an elephant. High within the skeletal wooden towers of a rising cathedral, a giant wheel turned, driven not by wind or water, but by the steady, climbing steps of men. This was the medieval treadmill crane, a machine that converted human footsteps into the raw power needed to lift history skyward. The principle was deceptively simple. Two workers would enter the enormous hollow wheel, its diameter often twice the height of a person, and begin walking forward on a series of slats. Their collective weight and momentum would rotate the entire structure. But the true genius was hidden at the wheel's core. Its central axle was a massive wooden drum, meticulously wound with a sturdy hemp rope. As the men walked and the wheel turned, this drum would spin, gathering the rope and hoisting a heavy stone block suspended from its other end. The real mechanical magic, however, lay in the gear train connecting the wheel to the drum. A large gear fixed to the wheel's axle meshed with a series of smaller pinions, creating a compound system that dramatically increased the lifting force. Some cranes even incorporated a planetary gear system, where smaller gears rotated around a central sun gear, providing an even greater mechanical advantage. This intricate gearing transformed the limited strength of two individuals into enough controlled power to lift multi-ton stones hundreds of feet into the air. The design was also a marvel of ergonomics. The slatted interior provided secure footing, and the slow, rhythmic pace was sustainable for long shifts, making the back-breaking work of cathedral building a calculated, coordinated effort. This human-powered machine stands as a direct testament to the medieval application of physics, a hidden mechanism where the simple act of walking could, through a cascade of wooden teeth and ropes, literally move mountains of stone. This same focus on enhancing daily life through clever engineering was already at work in the ancient world, where a hidden convenience was flowing right through the heart of a bustling city. While Roman engineers lifted water to spectacular heights, they also mastered its hidden power to cleanse the world below. The legendary Cloaca Maxima was far more than an open sewer. It was a monumental feat of hydraulic engineering designed to harness the relentless energy of moving water. This system did not simply collect waste, it actively flushed the city clean. Fresh water, channeled from the mighty aqueducts, was deliberately diverted into the sewer's mouth. This constant, managed influx transformed the channel into a flowing river, one with a singular, vital purpose. The genius was in the subtle details of its construction. The entire length of the cloaca was built with a precise, almost imperceptible gradient. This gentle downward slope was meticulously calculated to maintain a flow velocity fast enough to carry solid debris all the way to the Tiber River, preventing the nightmarish blockages that would have otherwise paralyzed the city. Its vaulted stone ceiling was not merely for strength. This arched shape minimized surface friction and helped funnel the current, keeping the waste in motion. This was a hidden public health mechanism operating on a colossal scale. By using water's own power to scour the city's underbelly, Roman engineers created a sanitation network that directly reduced the spread of waterborne illness and controlled pest populations. For the millions living in ancient Rome, this unseen flow beneath their feet was a foundational pillar of urban life, a testament to an engineering philosophy that viewed public health as a problem to be solved with water, stone, and gravity. This practical mastery over flow, directing an elemental force toward a communal good, mirrors the same intellectual drive that sought to map the perfect, predictable flow of the stars across the heavens. 5,000 years ago, architects in Ireland carved a celestial trigger into a grassy mound. As the sun crests the horizon on the year's shortest day, a single blade of light pierces the total darkness of Newgrange's inner chamber. This event lasts for just 17 perfect minutes, a fleeting moment of solar alignment that transforms a silent tomb into a roaring testament to ancient genius. The secret lies in a feature known as the roof box, a narrow, rectangular opening deliberately constructed above the main entrance. This was not a simple window or a random crack. It functions as a precision aperture, a carefully calibrated slit that captures the first golden rays of the winter solstice sunrise and channels them like a laser down the 60-foot passageway. The entire structure is a hidden mechanism of stone and shadow, engineered to capture one specific moment in the Earth's long journey around the sun. This was far more than a tomb with a view. It was a monumental calendar, a spiritual device that connected the world of the living to the cycles of the cosmos. The people who built Newgrange possessed a sophisticated understanding of solar cycles that would not be formally recorded for thousands of years. They encoded this knowledge into the very landscape, creating a temple that comes to life only once a year, marking the symbolic death and rebirth of the sun. This profound connection to celestial timing, this need to navigate by the heavens, would soon find its ultimate expression on the open sea, where a new set of hidden mechanisms would guide explorers through the trackless blue. The warmth of a Roman bathhouse floor was a quiet marvel of hidden engineering. Beneath the intricate mosaics and smooth marble surfaces, an entire heating system pulsed with life, completely invisible to those enjoying its comfort. This was the hypocaust, a masterpiece of thermal dynamics that transformed living spaces across the empire. The entire process began in a dedicated furnace room, the Prefurnium, often located just outside the main building. Here, a constant fire would roar, its flames heating the air within a large, hollow space beneath the floor. The real ingenuity, however, lay in the structure it heated. The floor itself was not laid directly on the ground. Instead, it was supported by a forest of short, stout pillars called pilii. These stacks of terracotta tiles created a continuous, flat void, a plenum chamber for hot air to flow freely. As the furnace blasted heat into this underground space, the hot air would naturally rise and circulate, transferring its warmth directly into the solid stone of the floor above. But the system did not stop there. The heated air was then channeled upward through the walls. Builders constructed them using hollow box tiles known as tubuli, which were stacked to form vertical flues. The air would travel up through these clay tubes, warming the walls from the inside out before finally escaping through carefully placed vents in the roof. This created a radiant, all-encompassing heat that banished damp and chill from even the largest rooms. It was a form of central heating more sophisticated than anything that would exist again for over 1,000 years, a hidden mechanism of comfort that defined Roman luxury. This mastery over an invisible element, the very air they breathed, set the stage for the final mechanism, one that sought to conquer an even greater invisible barrier, the vast and silent distance between people. A city surrounded by enemy forces faced a desperate problem: how to call for help without a single runner getting through the blockade. The solution flowed not through the air but through water, in a device known as the Hydraulic Semaphore of Aeneas Tacticus. This was not a simple signal fire. It was a timed, synchronized communication system built around two identical water clocks stationed miles apart, one inside the besieged city and the other with a distant allied force. Each clock was a large ceramic jar with a small, standardized hole drilled in its bottom, and inside each jar stood a vertical rod, carefully marked from top to bottom with a list of common, pre-arranged messages. One message might mean send cavalry, while another could signal prepare for a naval attack. The system relied on perfect synchronization. The operator in the besieged city would first raise a torch high into the air. The distant ally, seeing this light, would raise his own torch in reply. At the exact moment the ally lowered his torch, both operators would pull the plugs from their water clocks, starting the synchronized drain. Now the sender would watch the water level in his jar slowly fall. The moment it reached the line corresponding to his urgent message, he would raise his torch again. The receiver, watching the sender's torch, would immediately lower his own the instant he saw that second signal. He would then check the water level in his own, still draining, clock. The message sent was the message inscribed on the rod at that precise water level. This was the true genius of the system. It used the constant, predictable flow of water as a timing mechanism to transmit complex information. The code was not in the torchlight itself, but in the shared, hidden interval of time measured by the falling water. An enemy observer on a hill between the two stations would see only a series of simple torch raises and lowers, completely unaware that the real message was being carried by the silent, measured drop of water inside a clay jar. This hydraulic telegraph transformed a basic timekeeping device into a secure information network, a hidden mechanism that turned the relentless passage of moments into a lifeline for an entire city. It stands as a stunning example of ancient cryptographic thinking, proving that long before the digital age, the most vital codes were written not in ink, but in time and water. A massive stone hangs in a leather sling, poised to fly toward a castle wall a quarter-mile away. The true power behind this devastating shot was not the long wooden arm or the team of engineers, but a hidden, swinging box filled with tons of earth and stone. The Counterpoise Trebuchet represented the pinnacle of medieval siege engineering, and its genius was contained entirely within its adjustable, hinged counterweight. Earlier trebuchets used a fixed weight, a solid mass that dropped in a simple arc. This worked, but it was inefficient, wasting much of its potential energy. The pivotal innovation was a box attached to the arm with a hinge, allowing it to swing freely. As the trigger was released and the arm whipped upward, this box did not just fall, it pivoted, its contents shifting in a dynamic, slinging motion of its own. This hidden action was a masterstroke of physics. The swinging weight transferred its energy to the throwing arm far more smoothly and powerfully than a dead drop ever could. It was a primitive but brilliant application of rotational inertia, harnessing the same principles that make a figure skater spin faster by pulling in their arms. Engineers could fine-tune the trebuchet's performance by adjusting the weight and distribution of material inside the box, altering range and impact force with terrifying precision. This hidden mechanism transformed a simple lever into the long-range artillery of its era, a machine that could systematically dismantle fortifications once thought impregnable. It stands as a powerful final example of how the ancient and medieval worlds concealed their most formidable forces, not in secret codes, but in the elegant, visible application of the world's fundamental laws. From the celestial gears of the Antikythera Mechanism to the swinging counterweights of the trebuchet, our journey reveals a world far from primitive. These 20 hidden mechanisms are not isolated curiosities, but a connected tapestry of human ingenuity. They show us cultures that approached complex challenges with remarkable elegance, embedding their solutions within the very fabric of their world, in stone, water, and bronze. The overarching truth is both simple and profound. The principles of physics and mechanics have always been with us, waiting to be understood and applied. Long before these forces were given formal names, ancient engineers were already harnessing them to build, to communicate, to explore, and to inspire. They used what was available to them to solve the problems of their time, leaving behind a legacy of innovation that still resonates today. This exploration serves as a powerful reminder to look beyond the surface of history. The greatest secrets are not always lost in forgotten ruins, but are often concealed in the monuments we think we know, waiting for a curious mind to uncover their true nature. We would love to hear which of these hidden mechanisms captured your imagination. Was it the astronomical computer, the automated temple doors, or perhaps the subterranean water network? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this journey, subscribe to continue unraveling the mysteries of our past.